Yeah, this is Sammy Loco podcast number 96. I'm your host, Sammy Loco. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks again, Sam, for having me on the show. You can follow me on Facebook at Marathon Dre or on IG, two underscores fuck cancer two times.
All right, so we got a couple of questions as always. Podcast for the most part. What are some things that you're holding on to that you need to let go? Unless you start off with that.
Some things that I feel like I'm holding on to are sometimes I believe the right term for this would be I have had some agony towards like how I wasn't able to actually pursue my dream of being an EMT. So sometimes I get a little discouraged, but then I had to look at the progress that I've made since then. I'm still in the medical field, but I guess that just probably wasn't, where I was supposed to be. So I know I hold on to that. Anything else really? Nah, not really. I just because I think about my future and my career life, so I really think about that pretty much. What about you?
For me, it's holding on to commitments that people made to me, but trying to get out the habit of holding on to people's words instead of their actions. Because some people will not do the same thing you will do for them, and that's something that we call a grudge. So I'm trying to do that day by day to get out of the habit of holding on to people's words instead of actions, because a lot of people give you lip service instead of just saying, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And their actions don't show. And I think a lot of people are having that problem down since 2020, that, everybody's been isolated and now everybody's starting to come out. You got to start looking at people a little different, because a lot of promises that was said, you know, didn't come to fruition. So a lot of people is just, on some, well, let me say from my stake,
Okay.
a lot of people said they're going to do this and do that, has not come through. So I have to learn how to let that go, per se. So when is the time to stop calculating risks and rewards and just do what you, well, sorry, pretty much just like we're just saying is when is the time to stop calculating risks and rewards and start doing the right thing?
I believe that's really all on the individual's intuition, because I believe you'll get the signs to know, like, okay, yeah, I gotta do this instead of that. I really think that depends on the person and their intuition, really. So per se, like age, like I don't know. I just feel like everybody has a conscience. So your conscience will tell you is whether if you want to listen to it or not.
For me, calculating risk and rewards, I think with that, it's just jumping out there. But it has to be a situation where you believe it can, it's attainable. Most people will go to another state. A lot of people will go to another country. A lot of people will just get another job. But if the reward is not at least attainable, then a lot of people won't do that. I just had an interview with Nomad Fox where he went to 3 different places: Virginia Beach, Detroit, and now Colorado. But he was doing it because he was creative and he just needed new scenery, per se.
Okay.
So I think what that is that, for example, if you saying you have another job in another state and the state is somewhere that you don't know nothing about, but the money's good and the opportunity is good, it's pretty much you got to take that risk and just figure out how you're going to survive for how many years you're going to do it, which is good to make sure that you have pretty much a game plan laid out to say, yeah, I'm going to do this the first year. I'm going to do this the first month. I'm going to stick it out here. And sometimes it might not work. Sometimes it will work. But doing what's right is doing what's right for you. If you need the money and you can't find anything at the current space you're in, then I think you should do that. But the question I have for you is how you know what you're doing is right.
I believe my intuition will tell me that as well. And by looking at pretty much like the rewards of the decisions that I made. So I know some of them will come off as like some of them be lessons. Or some of them be like, okay, well, I really followed through with this, and this is what I obtained from this.
Mhm. Okay. I mean, that's good too. But I think it always is also about your situation too.
Mm,
Um, for instance, you meet a girl and then you're trying to figure out, how to move along with that. Sometimes you got to make a decision. This person might have a situation with them. They might have, have money problems. You got to make a risk and reward with it because the reward might be just sex. That's it. But then the risk might be I'm being with this person, but she's a psycho, or she might not have a house, or she don't know how to spend her money well. Those type of things. So what would be the right thing to do in that situation?
I think you gotta sit down and hold court. You gotta weigh your options. You gotta pull the scale out and sit down and hold court and weigh the pros and the cons and just go from there. Pretty much, you hold court with yourself first, and then you sit down and hold court with the other individual, and you see what conclusion y'all get from that. And you just move forward from there. It sounds easy, but that shit ain't
Yeah, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. What has life taught you recently?
Patience, and it's two things: the patience and to continue to progress and not get discouraged by certain things that don't go how I really will hope they went. Yeah. Those two things.
For me, it been two things for me also. One thing is it's no such thing as coincidence. Things happen for a reason. Before growing up, you used to hear that all the time. Oh, it happened for a reason. This and that. Nah, it, people are gonna come in your life to try to either make it better or make it worse. As either which way. So, when it comes to that, it's just God is going to put these things in front of you, and you're pretty much going to have to make a decision. And only thing God is doing is just watching, just sitting back, like, okay, he did that, he did this, and you got to make your decision from there. The second thing is pretty much knowing where I, where pretty much knowing where I lay fault at, like where I mess up in every situation, because I think with people, they look at the situation and say, oh, this person did this and that to me, instead of looking at what you did in the situation. You might have said a bad joke about the person. You might have pretty much rub them off the wrong way. And then you have situations also where people might feel like envious of you. So you got to feel a certain situation. So, for example, I'll use this. I have a family member. I'm not going to use their name, but me and this family member grew up together. Now, growing up and everything like that, you start to grow apart because you're living your life, they're living their life, and then you're trying to get a nostalgia with everything. You come to their house, they go to your house, but after a while, it's just the connection is not there no more. Okay. And certain situations, I didn't want to be well with the person, one way or another, whether it's their fault or my fault. I have to take fault in that. I have to understand, okay, you're the one that cut off communication and you didn't want to be at that person's house every day because of whatever the situation is if it's their girlfriend's always there, or you don't want to deal with that, or you know, they constantly hitting your phone up, yo, come on over, and all they want to do is drink beer and smoke and all that stuff, and you're trying to remove yourself in that situation.
Mm,
So now that person is older. Now that person's about to get married, and you have no connection with them except for Facebook. That's literally the
mm,
only connection you have with this person. And then you see this person, and it just feels weird. You haven't seen this person in a long time, and then it's like y'all not even family no more because you don't know how to pick off, where y'all started at. Now, some people I don't have to see for months at a time or years, and the connection is still there because the happy to see you, how you doing, this and that, but something along the lines things messed up. So I have to take fault for that, for just cutting off the connection.
mm.
So a lot of people don't understand that, and I think that should go to another question I have. What's one thing that you would say you need to change about yourself as far as your flaws?
Oh, thank you. I'm impulsive sometimes because I know I'll be right, but sometimes when because I can be impulsive, but that falls in the line. I started being impulsive after I start reacting to what somebody done, and they might not maliciously did it, but I feel some type of way. I try to express it, and I become impulsive. I just become very self-centered and trying to work with that. A friend of mine, me and my friend of mine, we went through a situation dealing with that. We came back and we talked about it. It's just like, well, I reacted like this. Yeah, they reacted the way that they did. I reacted the way they did. So we both reacted to what each other did, but at the same time, we were able to realize, like, okay, we both became a bit impulsive and forgetting about looking at the bigger picture. So with me being impulsive, like that messes. I can block my blessings like that, really. I try not to.
Well, another flaw of mine is overthinking. I overthink a lot of situations. That's why texting is the worst thing you can do when having a conversation. A borderline conversation, meaning, um, hey, can you pick me up, or hey, uh, can you come by, or whatever the case may be. If you say no, somebody might automatically think like, oh, this person don't want to help me out with this situation or whatever. Me, I'm overthinking situations like, okay, I got this coming up next month, and I got this and that. And I have to learn, which was one of the lessons that I have to learn by myself, is also, okay, if it happens, it's going to happen for a reason. Instead of
Yeah.
sitting there and waiting and trying to force stuff, I have to let it come to me. I can't sit there and say, oh, well, why this person ain't call me today? Why, like this and that? Like, some people will call that anxiety also, but
It does.
overthinking, overthinking will probably do that.
At least
Overthinking.
you're able to acknowledge that and actually accept it. And with those two things, as well as try to work on it, because we have a lot of people out here that know what their flaws are because we all have them,
Mhm.
but they know it and then they acknowledge it because knowing and acknowledging is two different things, but they don't try to work on it. We all know people like that. That's good though. So you give yourself a pat on the back for that one, man. So,
Yeah, but it also takes some stranger telling you that. You can't have somebody that tell you that, because you're going to be defensive about it. Like for me knowing that I'm an introvert and I'm this and pessimistic at some point, it
yeah.
took a stranger for them to tell me that. And then I take it as a coin to say, okay, you need to work on that. Compared to if your parents or your sister or your brother or somebody, your friend that's close to you, tell you that, man, you were friends for this. Oh, you're impulsive. And you be like, nigga, I ain't impulsive. You nigga, you don't know me. This But if somebody just randomly at your job or just, you know, going to the doctor, whatever the case may be, they might
Mm,
say, "Oh, you know, you're a little impulsive on that. You're a little impatient," and then you might say, "Damn, okay, all right." It makes you think
mm,
because it's just different because a lot of people that are friends, they're scared to tell you the actual truth.
mm. Okay.
Those people will actually get you in a hole compared to a stranger where you're sitting there and you're wondering why you're losing jobs, you're losing friends, you're losing opportunities, you're losing all these things because something is namely wrong with you or you need to adjust a certain thing. Some people don't know how to because they saying, well, I'm not changing who I am. And that's true. That's cool. You don't have to change who you are, but if it's affecting your livelihood, I think you should change it. But what you think about that then?
I think everything you just said is right because a stranger can't hurt you. You know, the only person that can hurt you is somebody that's close to you.
Yep.
So sometimes you have to actually, you know, take that in consideration. I know I've had prime example where I was having a conversation about something with my father. We was out in public and
Mhm.
it was a older lady, right in her 50s and 60s. She was listening to my father try to tell me something. And then basically my father was just trying to get me to do what he wanted me to do. But the lady said to him, she said, "Hey, that's your son?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "He got a mind of his own. He gonna listen to you." But she could just tell that by my body language. She's like, "He gonna listen to you, but he got a mind of his own." My father got upset about that, but I've been
Mhm.
trying to tell my father that for years. Like, I'm not gonna do what you want me to do, especially if I don't think it's the right thing. Because that's just way over there, and I don't want to be way over there. Right?
Okay.
That's so, but you're right about that, though. You're right. You definitely, like you told me when we were having a conversation, I believe you said this 2 weeks ago. He's like, your real friends will tell you the truth about yourself. They'll really tell you, like, this is how you are, this is how I view you. You know, you should work on this, you should work on that. Your real friends. And then you'll have your friends that won't really. But I feel like the friends that don't really touch too much on if they want to help you or see you grow. I believe
Mhm.
that might be some trauma that they done had in their life, and people might have, you know, talked down on them because they didn't do things a certain way, and they don't want anybody judging them, so they might not say nothing about you. You know what I mean?
But I also that also goes to the next question you were saying, but I'll get to that next.
Well,
The only problem with that is that the people that don't say nothing, I don't think they really value that person as a friend
I can
because
see I can see that I can see that.
because if like people love to see the car accident, they love to see the
Mm,
crash. But as a friend, if you sitting there and you're watching your friends destroy themselves and you don't have no like serious conversation with them, for instance, a person might be an alcoholic.
mm,
Like you as a friend is supposed to tell that person if it's affecting them, like, bro, you need to slow down the drinking.
mm,
If that person doesn't respect it, then you sit there and have a serious conversation. Sometimes you have to accept people for what they are, but if you know it's hurting that person, you have to sit there and say, look, like, what's going on? Why are you drinking? Because if
mm.
some because most alcohol, like two alcoholics I know say, oh no, it's what they say, it's a family trait.
Oh, so it's genetics.
Yeah, genetics, or it's something that happens in my family. This is what everybody in my family did, right?
Okay. All right.
That doesn't make sense to me. That
It
doesn't make sense
doesn't.
to me because if if I have people that's on drugs in my family, do that mean I'm going to be on drugs one day? No, because it's supposed, like, you're supposed to see, okay, that is not. I seen this person and that person on drugs. One is a functional addict. One is a drug user. that's not
Mm.
working out for them. And if I have a friend that's on drugs or constantly on drugs, then I have to tell them, look, it's only one or two ways this is going to end. You're either going to be hurting for the rest of your life or you're going to be dead.
Mm.
And, most of them always say, oh, we're going to die one day. So when you ask
Oh
them
yeah,
why,
that line.
yeah, that line. But most of the time you're supposed to sit there and ask, like, why are you this way? And sometimes you can't help that, but send them to therapy or something like that. But also be
Mm.
a listening ear. But I mean, I'm rambling off. But
No, you on topic. You on topic.
yeah. But that goes to the next question that we have here. What does a person have to do for you to believe that that they care?
All you had to do with me is show it in your actions.
Okay.
Because my grandmother taught me and she instilled in me one of the characteristics that you have to have is you gotta walk the walk and talk the talk. And that's just, letting your words match your actions. Now, sometimes life happens. I get that. But pretty much for me, just do what you say you're gonna do. And don't say you're gonna do something and then when the time come around, then you don't do it. And it's just like, damn, like what this is really important. So it's just actions for me because actions will show you everything really.
Okay. I'm going to say it's actions, but I'll give you an example of it. You have a life changing an event,
Okay.
and you say, "Hey, I need help."
Okay.
Now, the person actions would be like, "Okay, I got you. I got you. Like what you need," and you're there. Some people actions are, "Why are you in this situation?" They're questioning you about a situation that you're already fully aware of why you're in this situation. And I think that's very important because it's two different types of actions when it comes to that, because some people might feel, oh, he's in a bad rut right now, and then telling other people your situation.
Mm.
They might help you. See that
Mm-hmm.
that's an action. They helping you, but they telling other people, yeah, so and so he broke as a motherfucker, man. He asked me for $20. He better pay that back. Like that's one action. So what would you consider that person? Like,
Well, you referring to the individual that loaned the other individual the $20?
yeah.
I look at that person. It sounds like theoretically, I want to say hypothetically, maybe
Mm,
it sounds like they have some type of history, but it sounds like they don't really trust that person, you know, and they needed to pretty much like vent that to somebody else. So that's how I can view that. Because I done been in that situation, with somebody, a guy that I grew up with. So I can actually pretty much like really relate to
okay. So what? All right. The second action I was talking about, you have somebody that helps you out
that.
and goes the extra mile.
Hmm.
Right. These are the people that knows everything about you, even if y'all get in an argument or whatever the case may be, and they don't tell people personal business about you. So, like when it comes to having somebody that show that they care, I think it's actions. I also think it's having empathy for the person,
Okay.
because you can do all these things for the person because it might be just a reaction. Okay, this person needs a person that just listens, and then you have that person that just helps you and just listens to you, and then that's a form of caring, because a lot of
Mm.
people don't want to listen. They'll sit there and tell you like you're wrong all the time, or that they're just putting on their thoughts on you. And then on top of that, the advice is shitty. It's just one word, like shit, do what you gotta do. But the excuse for that from the other person is, oh, they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. That's not the point. It's not the point. The point is, I give you this advice because advice is just like money. I give you this advice. You either going to cash the check in and use it, or you're going to sit there and let it sit. And then it get damaged, You just lost out on a check. That's how it is. So the caring thing, I think, it's also about how you grew up. If you had parents that always was just looking out for you and also teaching you and childhood memories too, you gain your first friend, from family or school. That person might be there for availability. Some people think friends are for availability also. Like, you're very accessible. So that's people that considered, friends, I'm talking too much anyway, but yeah.
No, you good. You good. You still on topic, man.
Yeah, a second time, but yeah, but
you good, man.
but yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's why I said 2020 was a very important year, because a lot of things happened, and we had to get an understanding of who's who. If we didn't get an understanding back then in 2020, I'm pretty sure this year a lot of people is going to get an understanding of who they are now. But anyway, going to the next question. If life is so short, why do we do so many things we don't like or like? So I can't read it today.
I remember that. I remember that. So I'm gonna say it's two things.
Mhm.
You get comfortable in the comfort zone. I believe that's why. In my opinion, I think those are the two reasons. Because if you look at, I'll give you some examples, but I'll give you one that I know that pretty much, a lot of people at a job, they don't like the job, but it pay good. And it's like, they done got comfortable there. It's just like, yeah, I could try to go out and, like find something else, but that go to comfort zone. When you hit that but word, the conjunction, but I just stuck it out here. So it's like I'm comfortable here. Yeah, I don't like this, and I have a comfort zone here. That's why I think people do that stuff, brother. That's why I think.
All right. Well, I'm going to I'm going to re-say the question because a lot of people probably not catching on. If life is so short, why do we do so many things we don't like and like so many things we don't do? So I'm going to answer that, and I'm going to piggyback off of what you said about the job situation and just in general. We do it because that's something that we're taught. Okay. So, for instance, you have a lot of people. I use Dame Dash as a example. First example, when he had that Breakfast Club interview and he was talking about being your own boss, he told people that he's his own boss, his son has his own business, and etc. But he did not tell people how to be a boss doing that. It was more of a poke your chest out moment. It was an ego tripping moment. So with that being said, stuff that you're taught growing up, if you've seen your parents doing it, you're most likely going to do it. Now, if you see your parents, because if you've seen your parents get up every day and go to work and they teach you the value of money and paying your bills and stuff like that, you're going to have in your head, I have to go to work every day. I have to have a job. I cannot sit here and do nothing. Now, if you have parents that gave you and spoiled you about everything and just gave you everything, those are the people that just, they don't care. Like, okay, the money's going to come up somewhere or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't work out. So I think with that, it's like I said, it's all about how you grew up. Let me put it that way, because for instance, I might stay at a job because, hey, my friends are here. Oh, I got good benefits, but the managers suck, like
Mm,
literally suck. And then you're sitting there saying, okay, what am I going to do? But then you have your head playing tricks on you also, because you sign up for these other jobs, and the other jobs might have better pay, but benefits suck. It's too far from home. You can make all these excuses up, but that's why they always say you should chase your dreams. You don't want to sit there and chase after something that's nothing there. Like
mm,
you're going to you say, oh, I want to make more money, but you don't want to make the sacrifice to say, I want to go for this occupation. It might pay me less, but I guess I'll do it. Those people wind up being in somewhere they love it, they enjoy it, and etc. But the ones that you're talking about, they're there. Oh, I'm too old to be trying to get another job and this and that. And that's not the case. It's not the case. It's just that you have to apply yourself.
mm.
That's just my personal opinion.
Nice. Thanks.
Next question. What can be called a waste of human potential?
Yeah, that's not applying yourself.
Give me an example.
Where? Well, because that's an interesting. That I like that question. Because you can actually like see some potential in a person.
Mm-hmm.
You'll believe, because everybody sees whatever they see. And that's their opinion. That don't mean
Mm-hmm.
that's best for the other individual. But just like not applying yourself, like saying you want to do this and you want to do that, and you don't really have any, what do you call those? I believe I can say constrictions to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can go out and try to find the resources, but just not doing it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I know somebody. I've known a few people like that. So, yeah, so I can understand that. I like that question. I really did. That was a good question.
I'm going to get a little deeper with it. I want to ask you this question now. A person that murdered somebody at a young age,
Mhm.
self-defense, whatever the case may be, do you think that person doesn't have human potential, or are they a waste of human potential?
Well, if you're saying it's in self defense, then they still have some potential. But if it's a recurring thing, like they live in that type of life, then
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, uh, yeah, you just here taking up space. This just what you want to do. But if it's in self defense, yeah, I can understand that. That don't mean, and you said young age, so the brain ain't fully developed. So depending on why they did it, you said self defense, so I understand that.
Okay, I'll give you another person.
Yeah.
Let's say a person that's rich, wealthy, whatever you want to say,
Uh-huh.
and they're not helping, humanity. Like they have a business, they have tons of money, and they're not helping nobody. Like they're not trying to help out the other percenters, the middle class, the lower class. Would you say they are a waste of human potential?
Nah, only because you can give a two-sided answer, but I just say nah because that's just what they want to do. Because people always gonna have that opinion. We can say if this basketball player, did this, went to this team, he would have excelled. But like I said, it pretty much piggybacks off what I was saying. It's just like your opinion, the way you view somebody, that don't just because you see something in your mind and you think it might be best for them, that don't mean that shit in their mind. That don't mean that even if they did do that, then it'll be best for them. So, but we definitely shout the people, but I ain't gonna say that waste though. I ain't gonna say that.
All right. So for me, I would say a person that has a lot of human potential are people that are pushing the culture forward. Now, whether it be good or bad, because we don't know, I really, really like Elon Musk. Now, besides the money aspect of him, I'm not even worried about that. He's actually doing something to push the human race forward. So him just every day thinking, how can I do better? Bill Gates, not Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. People that's constantly innovating technology and just human decency.
Okay.
And I don't know nobody else that's doing stuff, but I would say a person that has the resources, might not be money, but has the resources to push whoever forward. Like for instance, you might have a bunch of guys that's, for instance, us. We live in Baltimore. We got the Squeegee Boys. So every day they come in conflict with somebody else every day. Now you give them money, or you can give them advice, or you can give them a job.
Yeah.
Like if you're a person that has a business and you see they out there doing squeegees and they're conversating for money and tips and stuff like that, that's business. What they're doing is they're performing business. So if you're a person that has a business, it is only right if you're doing human potential, or you have good human potential to help these kids out, to say, hey, I got this job. You can start tomorrow if you want, or you can start next week. Come by, I'll give you a job. Because these kids don't want to work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, hold up, like I don't want to sit here and make $10 an hour when I can go out here, I can sell this, I can sell that, and I can do, squeegee boy activity and get more money than that. So I can't get mad at them for that. I can't. So it is what it is with that. But I like that question too. But I mean, waste of human potential is people that's not pushing the envelope to help out the youth. And if you have an OG, he's supposed to be helping you out. That's just simple. If you see somebody messed up out there and you just walk past them or whatever, you're not helping. You're a waste of human potential unless you're doing something every day to help the youth or helping do your part. Now, I might be guilty of that for not taking a vaccine, but I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get deep into that, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we feel the same way about that though.
oh, okay, we'll talk about that now.
We feel the same way about that.
So I'll go into that topic then. The vaccine. Now, before the vaccine, you had the flu, right? And this is your field. This is not my field. It's just something so that's just something I thought about, right? People was dying from the flu about 80,000 a year. I'll say at least 80,000 a year. Whether it's older people catching the flu or whatever the case may be. So now, since it became a pandemic and people had to get shut down, people are doing the same thing that they did with the election. Now, I'm not calling Trump a virus, but we wanted that virus gone.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what do we have to do? Oh, you got to elect this person or this person. Oh, easy pick. I'm going to get this person. We're going to get this person. Whatever he say, come on in. and we bring that person in because we're familiar with that person. So at the end of the day, you have a vaccine now. Now, people don't even care about information. They just hear, okay, if I do get it again, I won't die from it. But then there's other evidence out there that say if you do get the virus, it's a 90 something percent rate of surviving it.
Mhm.
And the people that died from it died from underlying diseases. And then you find out doctors was getting paid more just to put on a stamp to say, okay, that person had COVID. Whether they
Yeah.
had it or not, that's what they had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. I'll let you say what you have to say about
I mean, I think that it's crazy. What a time to be alive. You know, to actually go through that pandemic.
it.
You know, and I found it funny. So I'd be thinking to myself, you know, they call it COVID-19, but it started somewhat like late 2019, but like 2020 was the year that like this shit really hit the mat. So
Mhm.
I was like, I paid attention. I don't know if that was a little coincidence or I'm gonna say coincidence. I know you say don't say that, but I found that funny. I really did because I was like, 2020. How they name this 19 like COVID 20 maybe, you know? But it did start in 19.
Mhm.
The way I feel about the vaccine, I don't trust it because I feel like they experimenting, and now I really feel like what they doing is this shit is a contest now. Like they talking about you can enter the lottery and win money if
Yeah.
you take the selected individuals that you know have you know uh taken the vaccine. Like
Mhm.
what is this? Like you're selling money. And then they wonder why they say money rules the world. Money is the root of all evil. Like you're selling money. Like go ahead and do this. You know, you got a chance of winning at the lottery. Everybody fucking want to hit the lottery. Like so it's just like wow, you know, like what a way for the media. Like you know, they were really thinking about that. I don't really trust it though because it's just like the side effects. I don't understand how like with the flu. I never understood. I believe we said this a few podcasts ago when we touched on this. I never
Mhm.
understood how you get the flu shot, but you still get the flu, and they say, well, it's supposed to help fight it off. But it's like you were fine before you got the shot. So how in the world did you wind up getting the flu?
Mhm.
It just didn't add up to me. And it was that with these side effects. Like I don't know if this was fake or you know just an ad that somebody put out there, but they said something about the other day. They were talking about some people that didn't have the shot and now they got like these swollen tongues. And I was just like, weird, like this is some underlying shit, like you were saying.
Yep.
But how in the world is a shot in my arm, two shots in my arm, left or right, gonna actually, you know, transpire up to my esophagus and you know, like my tongue winds up swollen to the point where it's sticking out my mouth. Like that's hives. Like that's an allergic reaction. So it's like your body is having it. Damn, I'm really going to my field right now. But like
Yeah.
it's an allergic reaction. So it's like if you take down, if you look at the patient's medical history, if you already know what's in this shot, what you
Mhm.
already have in this vaccine, you shouldn't be giving it to this individual because they're gonna have allergic reactions anaphylaxis. Like I don't trust it. I just don't understand how you still wind up getting COVID with the shot just as well as the flu. I feel like everybody is. I feel like what they trying to do, they really trying to eliminate us, really as many as they can. And
Mhm.
what I think they also trying to do is just continue experimenting because the number one thing, doctors are the real drug dealers. They the real drug dealers because they the ones that can prescribe, you know, this medicine, that medicine. I feel like they just putting stuff out there, just seeing like All right, let's see if they take it. Let's put this out here, like, because those numbers last year were crazy. Those
Yeah,
hospitalizations,
yeah.
and we would talk about that. So, I really went in depth. That's why I love my field. But yeah, it's on you now, brother.
I'll give you another thing because remember, we still have cancer out there. We still have AIDS. We still have uh we still have a lot of other diseases out there. Now, when they came, remember this during the summer, they was like, oh, African Americans are getting COVID more than any other race. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
So the news was saying that. So I said, oh, let me check on CDC. I go in there and I see Caucasian high like this. I see African Americans here. I see other races here. So I'm thinking to myself, and I'm not racist, but when it comes to white people, they love to do shit that we don't do.
Yeah.
Because when we go to our place where we eat at and stuff like that, we're not sharing no cups. We ain't sharing no spoons. We ain't sharing. You just ate off that. Get a clean fork. Don't come over here with the same fork. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. I seen it.
I don't know who you've been kissing.
Exactly. And white people do some nasty shit. Some nasty shit.
They do.
Yeah, like they'll dig their whole. Well, niggas do too.
Nah.
Niggas do too. But you can't catch COVID off of that. You might catch something else, but you're not gonna catch no COVID off of somebody digging their ass and saying, "Yo, what's up? What's up? Is it good? Yeah, what?" Nah. So when I heard about the vaccine, I said they got it done in a year.
Yo, what? Yeah.
In a year, and then y'all still going to take it after the Johnson & Johnson thing, and then people's whole back is peeling off like what? Like that don't make sense. So the only thing with that, then on top of that, I'm getting tired of getting vaccine shame because if I don't take a vaccine shot, I'm considered, oh, why not? What the fuck you mean? It's too many negatives, not enough positives.
Yeah.
I need to have more positives than negatives. So if I say you guys go out there and do the experiment, because either one, they ran out of monkeys, they run out of animals, and they run out of patients.
They were used.
They do that with everything though. But they have to see, okay, is this going to kill them or not? So I'm not with the conspiracy theories of saying, oh, they're out here to kill us and all that stuff, because I don't know who's trying to kill us. I honestly don't. So if it's depopulation, whatever the case may be, okay. Now I remember them trying to go to South Africa and trying to do some experiments too. So that's another case. But it's just like, hold up, like it's not making no sense. Like I'm still not going to take it because at the end of the day, I might not take the vaccine, but it might be something that other people that's vaccine shaming don't do for, for the human race. It goes back to being a waste of human potential. If I say I'm not going to take the vaccine, am I a waste of human potential? No, I'm still helping the human race. I'm doing my part. I might not be doing that because everybody's not going to do everything to help everything forward. But I am doing my part by standing out of people's face. I'm wearing my mask. And if I don't want to take a fucking shot, that's my opinion. That's my choice.
Yeah. And you're entitled to that.
Exactly. Speaking of vaccines, also, the LeBron thing. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that, but
I know about that. Yeah. That's my favorite player. So. Yeah, he that's a money thing, man. You can't have LeBron out the playoffs for a few games, like unless he injured. Like you just can't. Like you just can't. It's just that's the way. that when I saw that, I laughed at it and said, "Oh yeah, yo, really the king." Like, yo, they really straight with Drizzy and Michael B. Jordan. He was just dragging. Like, he was just dragging. It's like, man, but I can understand why he did it. Because he always been tight with Drizzy or with Drake. Because Drake shot him out on songs. So and people probably tired of staying, like feeling concealed. It's just like I want to go to this event. Stop opening up. So I think that's probably how he was thinking. I don't think he was. I don't know if his ego ran into it. Like I'm the king, because LeBron don't really come off that arrogant to me. Like they're not gonna have me sitting down. But that was funny because the dude was the dude named Chris Levert, Darius Levert. Wasn't that? Yeah, he got suspended a couple of games.
I'll name everybody that got suspended. You got Ben Simmons, you got Joel Embiid, and that was All-Star break. So then you had that. Karis LeVert. I'm missing somebody. I'm trying to think who it was.
Yo, there's somebody got in trouble for creeping. They had in the bubble.
Oh, you thought no, he was on the Rockets and his last name was House. So he was fucking around with one of the room attendants or housekeeping, whatever she was. And they was told not to do that. The thing with him is that, remember, they got everything on camera. Like they have the whole place surrounded. So if you cross that gate that came inside the little bubble, they can see you. So that's why Lou Williams, he was okay. He was okay to go to the funeral, but he went to the strip club and he took a picture.
My man, Lou.
So it was one it was one of those situations. But going back on LeBron, I think this was pretty much an ego tripping. This nigga, my dick on the table. And this is what it is, nigga. Yeah. I'm going out.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what y'all saying. Yeah. And Adam Silver probably was on the phone like, LeBron, you got a game. Nigga, hey, we good. Okay. Yeah. All right, LeBron. All right. No, we're not suspending him. So I'm just waiting for the next person to say, fuck that. I'm going out. I'm going here. Might see it with the Knicks in the Atlanta Hawks series. I'm going to the strip club. I'm going to here in New York, whatever the case may be. Do you have a mask in that picture? I don't think nobody had a mask in that picture.
I don't think he did. I know he had a sweater. I don't think he had no mask though. I don't think he had no mask.
Oh, I know who else now. It was KD. And I think KD.
What did he do?
KD got it because he went to one of Drake's parties.
See, niggas fuck with Drake. Niggas really fuck
with
Drake.
KD got suspended for that.
Oh yeah, I did remember that. I just said like
that's
Drake
what I'm saying.
People out, man. Like
so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that situation because it's like that's not making sense to me.
It don't. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So yeah, it's definitely, I understand that they was just like, we're not gonna suspend LeBron. Like it's LeBron, we're not gonna do it. But it's just like for the other people, because it's gonna happen again. Because now people looking at like, all right, we're not on the same level as LeBron, but it's just like LeBron did this, and like these people. Somebody gonna do it. But they gotta make an example of their ass for real. That's what they gonna do.
I don't think this would happen if David Stern was in the league, though. I don't think that would happen.
No, because I can't lie. Like, excuse me, my allergies. I can't lie. It's just ironical for him to not even be fined for that. You know,
Mhm.
for that actual incident, it's just like you said, it could just be him saying like, yeah, put my dick on the table, nigga, mine bigger. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna fucking do nothing to me. Like, so like I said, I don't think it was a malicious act, like, cause he ain't dragged too hard, but he dragged like, nigga, I'm going out. Fuck this shit. Like, but he ain't dragged too hard. Like, you know,
Pretty
like
much,
he ain't put no
it's pretty much LeBron saying, I'm calling out. If y'all say, hey, I'm gonna call out for the whole series. Like pretty much you calling out for work the next day, and they tell you, if you call out, you won't get written up. Fuck you, I'm going out.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It's pretty much the case.
Uh,
Next question is, what is a common myth that you wish you can debunk, or you could debunk?
I don't know. I had to think about that. That's an interesting one. Common myth?
Mm-hmm. It
Oh
can
no,
be
you
it
got
can be from it can be from growing up in a certain way, those type of myths. Like for instance, the one I used to never understand was if it was thundering outside, my mother would come down and say, "Hey, cut everything off. Lights is off." Like,
oh
why?
yeah. My
Why?
grandma used to do that.
Yeah. Or having the refrigerator open. No, not refrigerator. Let me not use refrigerator. Uh you're letting all my air out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. The air, like if we cut the AC off right now, all the air is gonna seep out the house. It's gonna be hot again. So it's not being concealed in the house. Me opening the door is not making it any worse. But it is what it is with that. But mine's would be the alien sightings, if aliens are real. Now I know they're supposed to have something next month about a report to see if they're real or not, because Donald Trump, I think he asked for that to be open. Or well, now I wish I can debunk it, but I think it's real. I think it's real. I think if anybody believes that we're the only thing that's in, the galaxy and stuff like that, we got another thing coming.
Yeah. So you believe in aliens?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and this might be, people think I'm crazy with this, but I also think this is why we get different technology. Like we get faster cars, we get better technology with phones. Um, the pyramids, like there's no way to build something like that. I mean, that's I mean, well, you got the Luxor in Vegas, but it's still like somebody did it without the information. Like they
Yeah.
just pretty much knew, okay, I'm gonna do this, do that. So I think it's aliens, but that might be me being whatever crazy, whatever you want to call it. But
People don't have that thing. So you entitled to your own, just like they entitled to theirs. I believe in aliens too. I definitely don't think we the only, I think that's because what's the other reason for consistently going out into space? And it's always, let's see if it's life on this planet. Like personally, I'm don't bother me, I ain't gonna bother you. So you go out there and fuck with them people if you want to. They hit you with what was the dude, the little alien dude that was on Looney Tunes running around them guys like
yeah,
that up there. Yeah. Nah, I'm cool on that, dog. Like, nah, they ain't bothering me. I ain't bothering them.
but like I said, that's
The
just
Martian. The Martian.
that's his name. Yes, but I also think it's just white people just pushing the envelope and trying to figure out what's going on, because they want to build a hotel out there in Mars, and you pay a certain amount to go up there. And I still don't think that, like, what's so special about Mars? I know it's Earth-like, but it's no way for us to come over there and, like, I don't see it. Like, I don't
With
see the
some
point of that.
nuggets.
Yeah, because you can't live on the moon.
Mm,
So you got that situation, and then on top of that, I don't even think Pluto is a planet no more. If you want to get nerdy
mm,
about it. So,
mm,
and then you got other planets beyond our couple planets that we have. So we got other things, and then you got the black hole out there. All these type of things. So
mm,
it's like, yeah, we're doing that because of what? That don't make sense. But
mhm.
I don't know. That's one. That's one. Another one would be just how should I say this? It should be something of the effect of the Earth is flat. Like
Oh,
that thing. Like I don't. I
with
like
Kyrie
the
on
yeah. It went Kyrie on him, but like for instance, it goes into what the media tells you. I personally haven't seen it, so I don't know if the Earth is flat or round. It might be crazy me saying that, but if I don't personally see it, I don't know because
it.
I not
Nah,
I understand gravity, like gravity is what it is, but it's just like I don't know. So that's one of those things where it's somebody's opinion and that's what they think. But
yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But that's that's common myths I wish I can debunk. But
Man, come back. I'm gonna think about that one. See, we gotta have to talk about that one next week. Put a stall by that question. But
okay.
I would definitely have to. I'm gonna have to think of it because I have an idea of what I want to say, but it ain't fully developed. So instead of me just blabbering out anything, I'd rather go back and I had to write it down really.
Mm, okay. Um, knowing when a situation is becoming toxic.
When it's not bringing you no peace, when it's doing more harm than anything, when it's affecting your livelihood, your everyday living, pretty much.
Mm,
Yeah, because I've been in situations like that, and it's just like as much as you might not wanna. Because the one thing I never, I was just killing me, dog. Excuse me. The one thing I never understood, but I learned this from my grandmother too. She told me about it as I was growing up. She's like, people are saying they really tired of something, but still stay there.
mm,
Like especially like if they in a relationship with somebody, like, I'm tired of this person doing this, I'm tired of doing this. Like, like that's why it's called dating. Or, instead of rushing into it. But it's like people will say that they really tired of something. But it's just like R. Kelly made that something when a woman's fed up, like, like they really gone.
mm,
They get to a point where they just gone. And it's just like I think we use the wrong terms and certain the wrong terminologies in certain situations. Like you might not be tired of it, it just might really be annoying to you. Really, like this is really bothering me. But when it gets to the point where it's affecting your health and your mental and just your livelihood, that's when it's just like, yeah, this is not working. And you just gotta weigh the pros and the cons. But if it's toxic, like that's a con right there. That's a big con right there. Just bam.
I would say pretty much when you tell them something in private and you tell them your trigger points and they constantly or habitually just still, you know, touch on those subjects. I
Okay.
think a person that's willing to do that and willing to poke you and stuff like that, I think in a relationship, I think that is something that you have to look at and say is toxic.
Okay.
That's for me, that's the beginning stage of it. Um, other things, just like you said, it's definitely toxic, but I think it's other ways of finding out that a person becoming toxic or just the way they live and the way they think. Like
Mm,
I think Bob Marley's son said, um, a person becomes unattractive when you start realizing how they think.
mm.
So
That's a good one. And I can actually, yeah, I like that one because I can think of a situation like that. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good
yeah,
one.
so it's one of those things where if a person is thinking, like for instance, it's an old cliche that people are still going out. It's still a topic that I really hate, but it's one of those things where people say, "Oh, if I'm with a man, he has to pay all the bills and he has to do this. He got to pay for my hair getting done, this things like that." And then that person that says all that is not bringing nothing to the table, absolutely nothing. So a person that thinks that way, and then they sit there being lonely and stuff. They sit there and say, "Oh, niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't this. Niggas ain't that. Broke ass niggas, this and that." They be the ones that be in the club mad or just sitting there miserable. So if you have somebody that thinks that way, no guy's gonna come by and do that. Now, if you're doing something like if she taking care of the kid, we talked about this before, but that's one of
Yeah.
those things where how a person think. Even with males, I'll give you a great example. A male can come by and say, "Yeah, I got a stun on these niggas." Everything a man does is for a woman. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. If you trying to impress niggas, something's wrong with you. Like something is literally wrong with you to be sitting there. I gotta get the freshest shoes. I gotta have this. I get my hair cut because niggas been talking about hairline, this and that. You don't do things for males. You do it for females.
Mm.
Now, unless I don't want to say that word, but unless
Yeah,
you that,
yeah,
then
yeah,
I understand. Yeah, by all means, do what you got to
yeah.
do because at the end of the day, females have egos, and I don't know how females think with that, but I think most of them think, okay, most of them want to go 50-50. If they are, and if their man is paying for everything, I'm pretty sure they're doing something to bring something to the table.
Mm.
They might be saying, "Hey, I'm going to save your money for you. You're making too much money. I'm going to make sure you got this way. I want to make sure you have an investment here, this and that." That is cool. But the ones that say, "Oh, I don't gotta do shit. I'm a queen." This, yeah, sure, queen. Yeah, you're a queen. But at the end of the day, in order to keep your king up, you gotta make sure he's doing the right things. He's doing everything he can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal thing on that. Also, we're gonna talk about the Joe Button situation. I haven't talked about this with anybody else yet. Um, the value of friendship and business. So we already know what happened with that situation. Maul fired Rory and Maul because they asked a couple questions. They wanted ownership because they helped build it. The question I have is how when the value of the friendship has gone sour.
Hmm. The value of the friendship
Mm,
also.
yeah, and it can be for business or it could just be in general.
I think you could just tell off the vibe that you get from the person and what the person actually does. Yeah, I think yeah, those two things pretty much I could say.
For me, it would be not changing or evolving with the person. I'll give you an example, like I've been giving examples all day. If a person is elevating, and this is why they say, your friends should be, on the same wavelength as you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are talking about the past and nostalgia moments and stuff and not talking about the future, those are the people that you don't want to be around with because they're still stuck in the past. They want to
Mm,
relive some old shit. Now, when it comes to business and it's something that y'all both striving for, or y'all have achieved something together and they're still stuck in uh you know, everything is still going like it's supposed to go. And then, you know, as you get more successful, the more the other person has to do, the next person have to do, whoever's in the business. I think the value of the friendship and where it goes bad at is people not adapting to the friendship.
mm,
So if a person is telling everybody around them, I got this new job, I ain't gonna be around that much, but I'm here to offer you a job, or I'm here to, tell me what you're doing, and so people can get an understanding. If it's one person out the group that feels like, oh, that nigga changed this and that, and they're not understanding their circumstances, then I think that also messed up the value of the friendship also, because the value of the friendship was availability, accessibility. And when that gets closed in, and then you got life situations, and then you got one or two options: you stay connected with that person and just wait for them to have time, or whatever the case may be, or you just find new friends. And
yeah.
I think with Joe Button, that's what he did. But I think he got egotistic about it because the friendship part went out the door a long time ago.
Okay.
Soon as you start getting them, soon as you start being the person that cuts the checks for them, I think that messed up everything, because now you're dictating how I eat and how I survive. And I think when that happens, people looks at that person sideways because it's like, hold up, this ain't looking right. Like, I'm supposed to get a little bit more. No,
Mm,
that's what you're gonna get. And then as soon as a person tells you that, instead of sitting there talking about it, it gets bad, because then it's like, okay, so this is how much you think I'm worth. And then that person becomes and look at you as a boss and your employee. As
mm,
much as most people don't want to say that, I think that's what happened in that situation.
mm.
So I
That's
personally,
interesting.
yeah. So I think that goes with anything. That goes with anything. I think the value of a friendship is the availability and accessibility, and how much you give that person that. So that's just that's just one of my theories.
I like it because I went through something like that with some guys that I had grew up with, and they certain circumstances really changed in my life. I said, I was homeless, so when they saw me, like moving the way that I was moving,
Mm-hmm.
a little while before the time I was homeless, because I was helping these guys out, that was the word, accessibility, and I was available, I was helping them out when I could while taking care of myself, and they looked at me one day, it's like, yeah, you changed, and I was just like, I was like, yo, the way that you move now. And I had to take a step back, and I was just like, wow, like we all grew up together, and at one point you have to really sit there and say, like, what do you want for yourself? And life would, I said, I ain't had no problem paying my bills. I might not like to, but I'll pay them because I'd rather have a roof over my head,
Mm-hmm.
whether if I was just living by myself or, renting out a room or something. So, they said that to me. I was like, well, how? They said, well, the way that you move and like, the way that you move and the way that you talk. And it was just like, well, I don't think I'm better than y'all. It was like, no, we're not saying that. Like, you just changed. Like, you just, I said, yeah, we're supposed to evolve. Like, I'm trying to work towards something. They like, look at you in college, you doing this. I said, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. So I understand we all grew up in the hood and we might have not had the best role models. You know what I mean? We might have not had the best role models and influential people, but like if you want more, you gotta do more. I was like, I'm just doing more. And for some reason, excuse me, that bothered them, but I was just like, the same thing I'm doing, I sit in whole court and talk to y'all about things y'all want to do. Y'all tell me about things y'all want to do. I try to find resources that'll help y'all out. We use the smartphone every day. I say, you talk to me about it, you talk to somebody else about it. Resource, use a network. I say, it's just like the difference between me and them. I went out there and really applied it. And then when they actually saw that, it really made them uncomfortable. But that was just on them. So I knew the friendship was going sour right there. It was unfortunate, but it's just like that's the way that the cookie crumbled on that. So I can't do nothing about that.
The question I have is like, why does that includes me? Why do we get mad about when people say that? Oh,
I
you
think it's
change, that type of thing.
because I think it's depending on usually the people that say that you change the individuals that are close with you. Y'all have some type of bond, some type of connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because a stranger can't say you changed. So it's always people that you were actually in tune with that you knew. And immediately what you would think probably, and this could be impulsive or this could be maybe an arrogant trait, you immediately you'll think negative. Like how? You'll immediately be like, you're like, how I change? You might start to get on the defensive side. But I think that's why, because I think we get mad because you don't think you changed, but it's something that they see in you that ain't in them. So I think that's why they point that out.
I'll give you one better.
Okay.
I used to get mad about that because it made me feel guilty. Because me trying to keep peace in some situations, me wanting to keep peace and not being involved with certain elements of family and having people argue or people talking about people's situations, that's unfortunate. I don't want to be there, including friends. When I got on the dating scene, I wasn't around my guys because my guys are doing a lot of dumb shit. The dumb shit was fun. You used to throw eggs at people and throwing toilet paper here and there, little mischief stuff. But then you start realizing you can go to jail for that. So after a while, you just say, I'm more safer if I go on a date with this person or go hang out with this person. But the main core be like, oh man, you this and that. I was the first one to move out of all my friends. So they're still living home with their parents and they gotta listen to them, but then they looking at me like, yo, can we come to your house? Nah, I'm sharing this house with somebody. I can't have you come over here every time and being here and just popping up all the time. That's not gonna work. Oh, see, you changed, man. You ever since you with that so-and-so, you don't want to be hanging out, or you don't want to play basketball. Bro, I gotta work tomorrow. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. You gotta work and shit. Yeah. Y'all niggas don't have jobs. All y'all gonna do is just hang out all day. Y'all don't want to be home because you already know that your parents gonna be in your ass. And reminds you, this is 18 years old. You're fresh out of college, or fresh out of high school. So you don't want to be in the house. Anybody that's listening that's 18 and you don't plan on going to college and you plan on, not getting a job right away, or you have a job, get out the house. Find something to do all day, because if you have somebody that I knew, like how I had growing up, every day, how many applications you put in? What you doing with your life? Boom, 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 boom. And it makes you into a better person, but you don't want to hear that shit all day because you're judging yourself against society.
Someone else's opinion, for real. Yeah.
Exactly. So, some people will probably sit there, just like I hate when people say, oh, you should go to college. Maybe I don't want to go to college. I went
Yeah.
to college, but I'm just saying, like, maybe you don't want to go there. If I could rewind the time, like rewind everything, I probably would start my networking in high school.
Mm.
That's what I would have did and kept in
Uh-huh.
touch. Because the thing is that everybody wanted to hang out with the popular kids. And the popular kids, when they finish high school, you're no longer popular. You're part of population, but you're not popular no more. And
Mm.
those ones are the ones that ain't doing shit. So the ones that was nerds and everything and nobody paying them attention, those are the ones that's doing good right now because they got the businesses and they got all this stuff. And then I just wish I would probably connected with them more, which I am now.
Mm.
But you know, I could be better off right now. And that's not using somebody, that's just networking, like being a friend of somebody instead of hanging with the niggas I hang with because they ain't doing shit. But it is what it is. It is what it is. The last topic is one that's very interesting. What do you think with we were talking about the vaccine situation? What do you think next is going to happen? What do you think next is going to happen with just the big thing that's going to happen this summer? Because every summer, like every season, actually, it was some bullshit going on. What do you think next is going to happen?
Wow. Mm. I think that first, I want to say this. When you look out, be on the lookout for how this unemployment is about to go.
Yep.
Because they done switched it up. Now you either had to sign up and have it linked to your bank account, or you had to have a check mailed out. And it's not one of those alternative things where you could have put to the side because they made this finalized Friday. You had to select either option or your unemployment was gonna be cut off. So it's just the government just letting y'all know. So hopefully, whoever getting unemployment to watch this, hopefully they did one of those things. Cause that it's gonna be some issues, because that shit was on the news last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be some issues with that for real. What I'm thinking, I think they really gonna try like segregate certain things with like vaccines. Like if you got the shot or if you didn't get the shot, because they're really pushing, as we discussed earlier in the broadcast, they really pushing for you to get this vaccine. Well, it's just like, yeah, these might be the side effects, but you'll be COVID proof pretty much somewhat. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you'll be COVID proof somewhat if you get this. I think they really gonna, push it because, the reason why they force and so many places that, open back up, it's not just because the numbers supposedly went down, it's because they want money. So it's just like they really want you to get these vaccines. They want you to go back to work, or if you can't go to work, like they talking about you can get a sign-on bonus, some shit you wouldn't even fucking think of, like a sign-on bonus. But the numbers are like outrageous. Like, what? This is the bonus? Yeah, you get this every week. But any time it's like a sign-on bonus, it's always an underlying thing. It's just like that little fine print that you gotta read when you buy something. It's always something to come with that. So you ain't getting that, after you do a week or two. Like, no, you need to be there like a month or two. Then you gonna see that back pay.
Mm-hmm.
But now they'll tell you about that. So I
No, they
think
don't.
I think that they, I think that hopefully somebody, learn from that. But I think that they really just gonna try to like force people to get that vaccine. Or I really think so.
Mm.
They gonna get some wild shit. It's gonna be wild, and it's getting hot. Yeah, it's about to be wild, boy.
It's gonna be wild. And you're gonna see a whole bunch of shit going on in these three places: Florida, Atlanta, and Vegas.
Who opened first? Was it Atlanta?
Atlanta. It was Atlanta.
they got some shit with them. It's a good place to live, from what I heard. But they got boy, they opened up. Was it earlier this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
then
springtime last year.
springtime. Damn. Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. You said Vegas. Shout out Vegas. Yeah. Shout out Vegas.
I think what's next to come is the inflation. Inflation is going to be crazy. I'm talking about sporting events, music events. I'm talking about, well, we're already seeing it with the gas situation, but that was, they said it was hacked. So that situation,
Wow.
living expenses, because as soon as they lift off all the rent moratorium, I think it's called,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna that houses. I think houses are gonna do one or two things. I think houses is gonna be so cheap because they're just trying to get rid of them, and people
Yeah.
that are in the real estate, they're trying to get as much money as they can because during the pandemic they wasn't making that much money. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a market boom with housing, but it could also go down because if you don't jump on it right away,
Yeah.
motherfuckers might go back to the rent situation.
Yeah.
But that also means that the courts are going to be very busy this year.
Oh it's a lot of shit that you're right.
So I think inflation is really going to be very crazy this summer. I think Black Friday is going to be crazy, but those Black Friday videos, the ones that people don't get killed in, I think it's
Yeah.
funny. It's
Yeah.
absolutely funny. But yeah, I think inflation is going to be very crazy. Besides the vaccine shaming situation, but
Mm-hmm.
I think everything else is going to be inflation. Like Tampa Bay's first game, the cheapest seats are going to be $1,000 something dollars, and people are going to pay that.
Mm.
So
Shit is gonna go up. My grandmother was mentioning to me like she was saying something along pretty much like the lines that you were saying, like this stuff is gonna go up.
yep.
She was saying for anybody that's out there, whenever you watch this, you hear this, you should try to get on your energy assistance because them prices gonna rise once stuff start opening back up. She says, for people that is gonna need help you're gonna need help on some of your bills. So if you can get some help from the government, see if you can get it, see if you can get them grants, because it's the gas. But I ain't hearing nothing about the gas last week though. That was brief. That was a brief.
Well, they fixed it real quick. So it's one of those things where it was
He just
just
said
fixed.
I had how do you okay. Piss on my leg and tell me it's rain. Ain't no way. They got some shit with them, boy. They got
Yes, they
some
did.
shit with them. We had to wait and see, man.
It is what it is. But that is wrapping up podcast number 96. I'm your host, Sammy Loco. Going into I don't know why I said that. Tell them where they can find you once again and all that shit. I don't tripping.
But thanks again, Sam. Having me on the show is always a pleasure. You can follow me on Facebook, Marathon Dre, or you can follow me on IG, 2_sport cancer 2 times. That's how you can find me, dog.
And also, people, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. I'm in all that. Please do that. Also, check out the IG, Sammy Loco 22. That's all together. That's SAMMYLOCO 22. And also check out There You Go Capping Podcast, which is all about sports. Check that on IG also. There You Go Capping Podcast. So I appreciate everybody listening, and we're out.